Hey Reddit. First time posting here, but I've lurked for a while. Honestly never thought I'd be writing something like this, but life has a messed up way of surprising you. My wife and I have been married for 7 years. We met through mutual friends, hit it off instantly, and got married 2 years later. I'm not gonna pretend it was always perfect, but I really believed we were solid. We had our little rituals, Friday night movie marathons, cooking lazy Sunday breakfasts together, sharing random memes throughout the day. Normal couple stuff. Or at least, that's what I thought. About 6 months ago, things started shifting. She suddenly became very protective of her phone. Like, would literally take it to the bathroom, sleep with it under her pillow, and freak out if I so much as glanced at her screen. I tried not to jump to conclusions. I mean, everyone deserves some privacy, right? But it was weird. It wasn't like her. Then there were the late nights at work. She's in marketing, and she started claiming she had late client meetings, team strategy dinners, and even overnight trips to other cities. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But the woman I knew wasn't exactly the stay late and network type. She hated working overtime. She also started dressing differently. More makeup. New lingerie she never wore around me. Her perfume changed, too. That part hit me hard. That scent wasn't for me anymore. The intimacy between us started to vanish. Not just sex, but connection. She stopped laughing at my jokes. Our conversations became short, cold. Like she was physically present, but emotionally already somewhere else, or with someone else. But here's the thing, every time I brought up that something felt off, she'd twist it on me. Accused me of being paranoid. You're always so insecure, she'd say. Maybe you need to work on your trust issues. I started questioning my own gut. Maybe I was being controlling. Maybe I was imagining things. Spoiler alert, I wasn't. So, the real tipping point came on a random Tuesday night. She said she was going to a networking mixer with her team downtown and wouldn't be back until late. I nodded, smiled, wished her a good night, then sat on the couch feeling like I was going to throw up. I don't even know what made me do it. Gut instinct? Divine intervention? Whatever it was, I decided to check the location sharing feature on her iPhone. We'd turned it on for safety during a road trip a year ago and never disabled it. She wasn't downtown. She was parked in a suburban neighborhood on the other side of the city. Now, this is where I'll admit I did something I never thought I would. I got in my car and drove there. Heart pounding, palms sweaty, brain screaming, what the hell are you doing? I pulled up to the house and just watched. Her car was there. Lights were on in the house. I sat for maybe 15 minutes before the front door opened, and out she came, laughing, tipsy, with some dude holding her waist like he owned it. He kissed her. She kissed him back. I felt like my brain short-circuited. Like the world cracked in half right in front of me. That's when the numbness started creeping in, the kind that's worse than anger because it means your body doesn't know how to process the pain. I didn't confront her right then. I left. Drove for hours. Didn't even know where I was going. When I got home, she was already in bed, pretending to be asleep. Makeup still smeared, her dress inside out on the chair. I stared at her for what felt like forever, wondering how the hell I ended up here, married to a woman who could lie so smoothly, smile so sweetly, then sneak off to someone else's arms like it meant nothing. I didn't sleep that night. The next day, I decided I needed answers. Real ones. And I was done giving her the benefit of the doubt. I waited until the next evening. I couldn't think straight at work, couldn't eat, couldn't focus on anything except what I saw. The image of her laughing with that guy, it played on a loop in my mind like some cruel film I never wanted to watch. When she got home, I was sitting at the dining table. She dropped her bag and smiled at me like everything was normal. Her, "Hey babe. You okay? You look pale. Me, where were you last night? She blinked. A pause. Then the performance began. I told you, I had that mixer at the Ivy with my team. You're really still being weird about that? I just stared at her. Me, no. You weren't there. I checked your location. I drove to that house. I saw you. I saw everything. Silence. She froze like a deer in headlights. And then? She laughed. I swear to God, she actually laughed, like I'd just told her the punchline to some bad joke. Wow. You followed me? That's psycho. You're stalking me now? No apology. No explanation. Just deflection. Classic gaslighting. And suddenly I was the crazy one? Me, you were with another man. He kissed you. You kissed him back. Don't insult both our intelligence. She finally dropped the act. Her face twisted into this ugly mix of irritation and boredom. Fine. You want the truth? Yeah, I've been seeing someone. For a few months. It just happened. I wasn't planning it. But honestly, I've felt suffocated here for a while. Suffocated. That word hit me like a punch in the chest. I asked her who he was. She wouldn't say. Just rolled her eyes and called him someone who actually makes me feel alive. She started blaming me, said I was too predictable, that our marriage felt like a job, that she needed excitement. She even had the audacity to say, at least he listens to me. You're always distracted. Distracted? I worked 50-hour weeks to keep a roof over our heads. I cooked. I cleaned. I planned date nights she bailed on. I gave her everything I could. But apparently, it wasn't enough. She ended the conversation with, I'm sorry you found out this way, but maybe this is for the best. Maybe now you can finally stop pretending we're happy. She walked out and went to stay at her sister's for space. All I could do was sit there, staring at the chair she used to sit in every morning, sipping coffee like nothing was wrong. I didn't cry that night. Not because I wasn't shattered, I was, but because I think my body was in full shutdown mode. My brain felt like a snow globe someone had just shaken violently. Everything swirling. No solid ground. No thoughts. Just noise. The next morning hit hard. Her stuff was still everywhere. Makeup on the bathroom sink. Her slippers next to the bed. Half a cup of old coffee she forgot to pour out. I remember standing in the kitchen and just staring at that damn cup. That stupid, half-full, lipstick-marked mug like it was some relic from a life I no longer recognized. Then the crying came. And it didn't stop for hours. I felt pathetic. Weak. Embarrassed, even. Like, how the hell did I not see this coming? How did I let myself get used like this? I replayed every I love you she ever said, wondering how many of them were lies. Wondering if she ever meant any of it. There were waves. One moment I'd be numb, zoned out, staring at the wall, feeling nothing. The next I'd be angry. Like, punch the wall angry. I wanted to scream at her. At him. At myself. I wanted to call her and say everything I didn't get to say when she walked out like it was no big deal. But I didn't. I knew she'd just spin it. Twist it. Make me feel small again. I started second-guessing everything. Did I work too much? Was I boring? Was I too safe? Too dependable? Is that really such a bad thing? I'll be honest, I even thought about forgiving her. That dark, messed up part of you that just wants things to go back to normal, even if it's fake. I hated that thought. Hated that I still loved her, even after what she did. How does that make any sense? I talked to no one for 3 days. Then I told my best friend. And the moment I said the words, she cheated on me, something inside cracked open. Saying it out loud made it real. Final. He didn't say much, just sat with me while I broke down again. But it helped. A lot more than I expected. And slowly, I realized, this wasn't my fault. I wasn't the one who lied. Who snuck around. Who bailed on vows the moment life got boring. That was on her. Once the emotional fog started to clear, I needed answers. Not because I thought they'd change anything, nothing could undo what she did, but because I felt like I'd been living in a lie, and I needed to know how deep it went. So yeah. I checked her laptop. Maybe that makes me the villain in someone else's story, but after what I saw with my own eyes, I stopped caring about boundaries she'd already set on fire. I didn't even have to dig that deep. Her dumbass had her email still logged in. Turns out, the guy she was cheating with? His name is Tyler. He's 29, some wannabe entrepreneur with a podcast about grindset mentality and a car he clearly can't afford. The kind of guy who uses phrases like alpha male energy unironically. They met at a branding seminar she attended back in March. From the emails, it started with flirtation. Then came the late-night texting. Then hotel receipts. Flight confirmations. She even used my credit card once to buy him concert tickets, said it was a client thank you gift. Client, my ass. There were pictures. Messages. Inside jokes. One email had the subject line, "When are you finally leaving him?" I couldn't breathe. She told him she felt trapped in a vanilla marriage, that I was sweet but uninspiring. That I was too focused on security, and she wanted someone with vision. She actually wrote that. Like I was some dusty old book she got bored of reading. I felt disgusting. All the nights she came home late and smiled at me. All the mornings she kissed me goodbye after God knows what. She was building a whole second life while I was planning anniversary surprises and paying bills. I took screenshots of everything. Not because I planned to use them, yet, but because I needed to see it. To stop doubting myself. To remind myself that I'm not crazy or insecure, I was being lied to. Repeatedly. Coldly. And here's the kicker, she told Tyler she thought I already suspected something but was too weak to do anything about it. Weak. That word set me on fire. After I read that email, "He's too weak to do anything about it," something in me snapped. I don't mean violently. I mean, clarity. Ice cold, emotionless, steady clarity. I was done feeling like the broken one. So I made a list. Literally. Wrote it out on paper. Cancel joint credit cards, done. Remove her from my health insurance, done. Contact a lawyer, appointment set for Tuesday. Start therapy, online session scheduled. Separate bank account, already moved half. Gather all evidence, emails/screenshots backed up. No more waiting. No more hoping she'd come around or apologize. She made her choices, and now I was making mine. I sent her a text the next morning. Simple. Cold. We need to talk. I know everything. I'll be here at 7. Bring your keys. She responded 2 hours later with, "I think we both need time to cool off. Maybe we talk when emotions settle?" Nah. That's her trying to delay, hoping I'll cave. At 7 sharp, she walked in, trying to act casual, jeans, hoodie, no makeup, like she was going for the "I'm still the sweet girl you married" look. It didn't work. She sat down, arms crossed, like she was the one bracing for betrayal. Me, I've seen the emails. I know about Tyler. I know everything. She didn't deny it this time. She sighed, this big, dramatic, ugh, fine, sigh, and then said. I didn't plan for it to happen. But I can't pretend I haven't been unhappy for a long time. You've been distant, and I needed something more. More. She used that word like I was a half-full cup she never bothered to refill. I asked her straight up if she ever loved me. Her answer? I loved the idea of us. But people change. What a load of bull. I told her I wanted a separation. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. Just nodded and said, if that's what you think is best. Like she was already 10 steps ahead. Like she'd already moved on. When she handed over her keys, she didn't even look me in the eye. She walked out quietly, like someone finishing a boring meeting. Like I was just a chapter she'd skimmed and decided wasn't worth rereading. That was the moment I stopped grieving and started planning the rest of my life, without her. The first few days after she left felt unreal. Like I was walking through a movie set of my own life. Our apartment suddenly looked unfamiliar, every corner a reminder of what used to be. Her empty vanity. The untouched side of the bed. The stupid framed photo of us in Paris, still hanging in the hallway. I ripped that one down on day 2. But I kept going. Because I had to. I focused on structure. Wake up early. Shower. Make coffee. Go to work. Come home. Gym. Eat something. Repeat. Even when I didn't want to, even when I just wanted to collapse, I forced myself to do things. I also started therapy. First session was awkward as hell. I didn't even know what to say. Just sat there like an idiot until I blurted, my wife cheated on me and made me feel like it was my fault. The therapist didn't say much, just nodded, and said, let's start there. And we did. I talked about everything, how I ignored the signs, how I lost myself trying to make her happy, how I stayed quiet just to keep the peace. I realized I'd been walking on emotional eggshells for years. She didn't just cheat, she eroded me slowly, bit by bit, until I barely recognized the guy in the mirror. But therapy helped. So did my friends. The real ones. The ones who didn't say, I told you so, even though they totally could've. My buddy James practically dragged me out of the house every weekend just so I wouldn't sit alone and stew in misery. And you know what? I started smiling again. Not all the time. But it happened. I cut my hair. Got back into running. Started cooking real meals instead of frozen crap. Cleaned the whole apartment top to bottom and boxed up every trace of her, photos, clothes, books, all of it. Took it to her sister's place and didn't even say hi. The silence felt better than pretending. I even started journaling. Every night. Not about her, about me. What I want. What I've learned. What I'll never tolerate again. For the first time in months, I felt like I had control again. And most of all, I stopped asking, why? Because the truth is, her betrayal wasn't about me. It was about who she is. Her cowardice. Her selfishness. Her inability to face discomfort like an adult. I wasn't weak. I was loyal. Big difference. It had been about a month since she left when the first message came. Just a casual, hey, hope you're doing okay, text. I didn't reply. A few days later. I miss talking to you. I know things ended badly, but maybe we could get coffee sometime. Just talk. Now, if you'd asked me 3 weeks earlier, I might have considered it. But by that point, I had finally started breathing again. Sleeping better. Not flinching every time I saw her name pop up on my phone. Still, curiosity got the better of me, and I checked her socials, burner account, yeah, I'm human. Tyler was gone. No trace. Relationship status removed. A few sad girl Instagram stories, some song lyrics about heartbreak, blah blah. I ignored her second message too. Then she called. I didn't pick up, but she left a voicemail. Crying. Saying she was confused, that things with Tyler weren't what she thought, that she made a huge mistake and that I was the most stable, kind-hearted person in her life. Said she missed our routines. Missed me. I sat there listening to it, and instead of feeling flattered or hopeful, I just felt nothing. Not anger. Not pain. Not even satisfaction. Just a calm, detached realization, she didn't miss me. She missed the version of her life where everything was handled. Where she had stability, love, comfort, and the freedom to betray it all when she got bored. This wasn't about regret. This was about loss of control. So I texted back one line. There's no version of this where we go back to what we had. Please stop contacting me. She read it. No reply. 2 weeks later, she sent a last-ditch email. A long one. Full of nostalgia and half apologies. Talking about our Paris trip, our first apartment, our inside jokes. Trying to reel me in with memories she had no right to weaponize. I didn't answer that either. Instead, I archived it. Then blocked her everywhere. And let me tell you, that felt better than any revenge fantasy ever could. It's been a few months now. I won't lie, there are still days that sting. Random triggers, a song she used to play, someone wearing her perfume in a crowd, a couple laughing in a way that used to be us. But those moments pass faster now. They don't ruin me like they used to. I've started rediscovering who I am outside of being her husband. I picked up photography again, something I gave up early in our marriage because she called it a waste of time. I'm not great yet, but I've taken a few shots I'm proud of. I even joined a local hiking group. Turns out, I love early mornings in nature. Who knew? I'm also learning to enjoy my own company. Friday nights used to feel like punishment, empty couch, silence, no one to laugh with. Now, they're freedom. I cook something new, put on a movie I want to watch, or just sit out on the balcony with a drink and my thoughts. Peace is underrated, man. And the anxiety? The constant second-guessing? The walking on eggshells feeling? Gone. I've also been slowly opening up to the idea of dating again. Nothing serious yet, but I'm not bitter anymore. I don't look at women like ticking bombs or assume the worst. I know not everyone's like her. And I've learned that my boundaries matter just as much as my loyalty. I'm not looking for someone to complete me. I'm already whole. And if someone comes along who respects that, great. If not, I'm good. I'm learning that healing isn't about pretending it never happened, it's about making sure it doesn't define who I become. Her betrayal was a chapter. But it's not the story. Looking back, I wish I'd trusted my instincts sooner. There were signs. So many signs. But I wanted to believe the best in her. I thought that's what love was, loyalty, forgiveness, sacrifice. And yeah, those things matter, but not when they're one-sided. One of the hardest lessons I learned was this. Being a good partner doesn't make you immune to being betrayed. Sometimes, the problem isn't you. It's that the person you gave your heart to didn't know what to do with something that real. She chose ego over honesty. Thrill over commitment. And instead of owning her actions, she blamed me for not being exciting enough. But you know what? I'm grateful she showed me who she really is, because now I don't waste another year, or another piece of my soul, trying to fix someone who never deserved the effort in the first place. So here's my advice to anyone going through this. Listen to your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. You're not crazy. You're not insecure. You're aware. Don't chase closure from someone who thrives on confusion. You don't need their permission to walk away. Protect your peace. Guard it like it's sacred, because it is. Rebuild your identity. You are not just someone's partner. You're you, and that's enough. And most importantly, never settle for being someone's backup plan. I used to think being alone was scary. Now, being with someone who makes you feel alone, that's the real nightmare. So yeah, I survived being cheated on. But more importantly, I came back stronger.